Hi, welcome back to the Maggie podcast. So, for today's topic, we're gonna talk about fashion shows. Spring 2019 Fashion Month has officially come to an end, and because of how the designer put so many efforts on the runways, we get to see a lot of beautiful garments and to experience new and unprecedented shows. But besides designers showing their new collections, there are also a lot of issues and changes that has happened through this year's fashion weeks, including both goods and bads. So here's a brief introduction of the Fashion Weeks. Fashion Weeks happens twice a year in the major fashion capitals of the world: New York, London, Milan, and Paris in that order. And Fashion Week Spring 2019 has just ended a few weeks ago. Big brands like Louis, Balenciaga, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Valentino, and all other brands has all held amazing fashion shows this year. And now we're just gonna talk about fashion shows that were more noticeable and just really catches everyone's attention. So first, we're gonna talk about Dior Spring 2019 Ready to Wear fashion show. For this year, Dior decided to combine their fashion runway with modern dance. So, movement and dance is the theme of that day. And the creative director of Dior said in the backstage, I wanted to speak about dance with a different point of view. She said, I think that dance and fashion are very close, for they both speak about the body. And then she added, modern choreographers speak about freedom. So basically, all the garments and the clothes that was shown on that day was inspired by dance, more so the body movements. The show first started with dance performance. Then during the show you can see a lot of dancers dancing across the floor, expressing their emotions and stories through dance while models are working by them, which is really interesting to look at because I personally, I would say I'm a dancer too because I am so in love with dancing, and I believe a lot of people are interested in dancing too. So maybe a lot of dancers are really excited about the collaboration between dance and fashion. And another brand, which is YSL, this time the show was held in front of the Eiffel Tower. The models were walking the vast Syrian pool, which is wow, it's really cool. And it was constructed as a shimmering runway. So the models are actually walking on the water, which is a really creative idea. And then also another brand named Balenciaga, which I believe everyone knows. It's definitely a really big and hot and trendy brand this year. So this year, the designer of Balenciaga, Demna Gvasalia, decided to work with a digital artist named John Raffman at the Art Basel. The digital artist Raffman said, my work explores new technologies and how our society, our consciousness, and our interrelationships have changed. So this year, Balenciaga decided to combine their fashion show with the digital art. They held their runway in a video tunnel, combining fashion with high technology and dealing with focusing on the present with all the roiling complexities, dissonances, and noise and distractions of the world around us provided the backdrop for the collection. So just based on all these brands, you can see a lot of fashion shows are stepping out of their comfort zone. They are trying to combine something different, otherwise just fashion itself, which is totally interesting to look at because it gives audiences and all the society a totally new and fresh experiences. So here we invited a guest. Her name is Dorina Chen, and we asked her about what's her favorite shows out of this season, like what she likes about. Is it about the stage, or just the show itself, or is it about the background, props, or the garments, or the style?
One of my favorite fashion show in this 2019 spring and summer collection was Saint Laurent that was held in Paris. And besides that, the show was held in front of the Eiffel Tower. I really like the scene because the entire scene had white palm trees lining the water-filled runway, and the models actually walk on the water in heels that are very high and without anyone falling. And the entire show went on very perfectly. Besides the very brave and courage and powerful atmosphere that Saint Laurent created, I also admire the designers, the designer ideas that put into the collection. The idea was about having girls to spread the awareness of sexual liberty and freedom, and allowing all the females to wear whatever they want without being raped or accused of wanting to show off their body. So the entire environment, atmosphere, and the ideas in the collection attracted me very well. Another fashion show that I really liked this year was Dior's, that was also held in Paris. The entire theme and idea of this year's collection was about dance, and because I am really interested in dancing, so this fashion show this year attracted me a lot. The source of inspiration and all the graceful movements was created by famous contemporary dancers around the world, including Loie Fuller, Isadora Duncan, Martha Graham, and Pina Bausch. And the entire collection was very beautifully designed, with all the paper or flower petals spreading across the floor. Outside the Dior fashion show's venue, they have a really large white wall with quotes on it about dancing, and I really like two of them, which say that I'm not interested in how people move, I'm interested in what makes them move. And also, dance is the movement of universe concentrated in an individual. So the entire fashion show was about connecting people's movements and our soul in dancing and related to the collection this year. So there are lots of pieces and shoes that are related to contemporary dances or ballet dances. So yeah, this one attracted me.
So thank you for Dorina Chen for giving us so many responses and opinions on this year's fashion shows. But for this year's fashion weeks, there are also some controversies going on. Moschino, the designer, is Jeremy Scott. He is known for his innovative, creative, sometimes eccentric designs. But for this year's fashion show, he is going through some copyright issues. For this year's fashion show, he has displayed some clothes that are all in white with dashed off magic marker type squiggles and dots that suggest color and pattern. But the next day, Jeremy Scott was then accused of taking uncredited inspiration from other designers, which is Edda Gymnast. She is a Norwegian women's wear designer based in London. She may be a smaller designer than Moschino, but she's not a totally unknown. The London College of Fashion has been rated as one to watch by a number of publications. But the next day, of the Moschino fashion show that was held, she took to Instagram on Friday to accuse Moschino of taking uncredited inspiration from her Spring 2016 and Spring 2017 collections. She stated that she actually met with someone from Moschino last year and have shown that person all of her works. But afterwards, Scott has reclaimed his position on his social media. He shared his references for the collection on his personal Instagram stories, including a number of archival Moschino designs and sketches by the house's founder Franco Moschino that indeed bear resemblance to Spring 2019 pieces. According to a representative for the brand, Scott has decided team never saw her designs or sketches. So this is kind of a skeptical issue and problem that the brands have to take care. But from what we have collected from Instagram, most of the audiences are supporting the designer, Jimenez, about how Moschino has copied her work. But besides all those skeptical issues, there are also a lot of new and positive changes that have been done in this year's Fashion Week. For example, London Week have been going completely fur-free for this year's Fashion Week. After Burberry announced that they had recently gone fur-free, the British Fashion Council, the governing organization that puts on London Fashion Week, have revealed that this reason London Fashion Week is also banning animal fur in any of its runway shows and presentations. This is a totally happy and exciting news for those supporters that think that fashion and luxury brands have been using animal fur illegally and it causes a lot of issues actually. So this is totally a good news for them. Also for this year's Fashion Week, it is definitely more about the diversity, whether on body shapes, skin color, or ethnicities. For example, Rihanna held her first Savage x Fenty fashion show. It includes models with different body shapes and races, which definitely transmit a message that not only skinny white model can be walked on the fashion show, or those people are the main beauty standard of the society. And also in Chromat's Spring to Summer 2019 fashion show, it shows the main point of this fashion show is that the women were not sample sized by the industry's long-time standards. They were trying to redefine sample size of women. The designer stated, sample sizing tends to be an excuse that other designers cite as a reason why they don't feature a range of sizes in their runway show. At #Chromat, we know that the designer has the power to choose what size they prototype their collection in. So the goal of this fashion show is to encourage more designers to sample their collections in a range of sizes in order to celebrate all different size bodies on the runway. So here's the end of today's podcast. Hope you guys did enjoy listening to today's podcast. And remember to subscribe to the podcast in order to listen to the next episode. Goodbye!